This is Pastor Jones. I'm going to spend about 5 minutes with you today talking to you about the backslider. Genesis 13, 1 through 11, we find a man there by the name of Lot. If it were not for the brief note of Peter in his second epistle, we'd have great difficulty in deciding whether or not the truth of God's word and the matter of God was in Lot at all. But Peter assures us, however, that Lot was saved. He calls him that righteous man and tells us how he vexed his righteous soul from day to day because of the vileness of Sodom where he chose to live. Lot had no altar, or as we would say today, he had no quiet time whereby to judge matters in the light of Calvary. Hence his terrible decisions. He ever asked if Sodom was a good place to raise children. He only asked if Sodom was a good place to raise cattle and to get rich. Lot was a man weak in devotion. We don't really see him unless he's glued to Abraham's side, showing any reaching out to God whatsoever. His desires, secondly, were worldly. 13th chapter, 10th verse. His eyes were on the world. His eyes were on riches. His eyes was on gain. His heart did not seemingly pant after God. He was wrong, thirdly, in his decisions. That day he decided to separate from Abraham and to pitch his tent towards Sodom was the worst decision Lot could have ever made. It not only affected him in whatever impact he could have made for God, it affected the entirety of his family, his children, his wife, his son-in-laws. Would you note Lot's fatal choice? It led to both the loss of his fortune, his family, and almost to the loss of his faith. Such is the high cost of backsliding. And I'm a pastor and been one for many years. And when I see somebody stop coming faithfully, or when they try to give me every legitimate excuse under God's sun, and you look and their giving is either little to none, they're not volunteering, they're not laboring for God, they're giving up positions. And if you ask them, is something wrong? Are you backsliding? Oh no, don't worry about me, preacher. But my friends, all those things are signs of backsliding. You're either drawing closer to God and hotter for the Lord, or you're pulling away from God and you're growing cooler every single day. And let me make it clear to you, jumping ship and changing churches and running here and running there, that will not make the difference. The problem is not that which is around you. The problem is that which is within you. Life, my friends, is made up of decisions. We make hundreds of them every single day. Some major, most of them are minor. Each decision changes to a greater degree or a lesser degree the direction of which we are traveling and our dedication and consecration towards the things of God. It's pushing us towards an eternity with the Lord, or it's pushing us towards an eternity in hell. My friends, for the most part, decisions, they're determined by our desires. What is the desire of your heart today? What does your heart really pant after? Because see, if it even pants after your family, and the family is placed ahead of God, Jesus said, you're not worthy of me. Our desires are determined by our devotions, or I should say, the lack thereof. This is the point to be made in this little devotion today, and I hope somehow, some way, God has used me and allowed me to get that point across to you. Where are you in God today? Are you moving higher, or are you drifting a million miles away from where you used to be in God? Call it what you want. It was called backsliding, and really it still is. I hope I gave you something to think about today. This is Pastor Jones saying God bless until I see you again.